Here we have a Zotac 4090 Trinity OC 24 gigs video card that came in for repair, and the problem is a melted burnt connector. The customer mailed the card over to Zotac. He was using a Cablemod adapter. Cablemod recalled their adapters because they were causing issues with the melted connector. I did a video before this one where I spoke a bit about Cablemod. The other person used the Cablemod cables and the same thing happened to the connector. And I said, I hope Cablemod would figure things out. Great company. And they honored and supported every single user who had a melted connector issue before doing the recall. And every single card that had a melted connector was mailed over to us from Cablemod, and we fixed every single one of them. Some customers, they even replaced the whole card with a brand new card. And for the rest of the customers, we fixed the connectors for them. So this one here is another one that was damaged with the Cablemod adapter. And I did mention in the previous video, the problem is not solely Cablemod, but Cablemod added to the problem. The connector issue is a design flaw, and we have a lot of video cards that came in for a melted connector where Cablemod was never used or a third-party cable was never used. I always advise against using any angle adapter and any third-party cable. Just stick with the original cable that came with the video card and do not use any right angle adapters or any middleman between the video card and the power supply. Let's read what the customer wrote. The customer said, referral, Cablemod support. Had the graphics card connected to the PSU with a Cablemod angle adapter in between. When purchased in May 2023, the common advice was that the Cablemod adapter would protect from melting. The adapter was since recalled for causing melting, and finally in October 2025, mine melted. Sent to Zotac, who confirmed the damage was from the Cablemod adapter, and they sent me here. I mean, 100%. What do you think? Zotac is gonna honor the warranty? It's very rare that video card companies would not put the fault on the user. What can you do? But, I mean, it's obvious. If you have a melted connector, I discussed this topic to death. Whose fault is it? Is it the user's fault? Is it the maker of the card? Is it Cablemod? Is it a combination? Should Zotac honor the warranty on this melted connector? Should they send the customer another video card, knowing that the customer used a Cablemod adapter which was recalled? I think legally, Zotac does not have to honor the warranty since the Cablemod adapter was recalled for causing issues, so they're gonna blame it on Cablemod. And Cablemod sent the customer here just like they do with all their other customers. And like I said, I hope things will change for them. Amazing company. I'm not advertising for them, but they did send over a lot of business for the past couple of years. And we've done, I would say, thousands of 4090 melted connectors. Not all from Cablemod, of course, but a lot of them came from Cablemod. Let's take a look at this one. If you look here, the damage is obvious. It's always the bottom row that melts. Okay, so we do have a melted connector. You can tell by just looking at the connector. You do not have to go under the microscope. So what we're gonna do is start by preheating the board. I mentioned this in every video. We are dealing with a very thick board. The only way to remove that connector is to melt solder and remove the connector. If you have a hot air station, a lot of newbies or people starting out in the business or somebody who has not watched our videos before, they would put the hot air station to max, point hot air on the board, and sit, take a nap while applying hot air, and nothing is gonna change because this board is absorbing all the heat. The only time solder will melt on the joints is when the board itself reaches the melting temperature of solder, and that's when you will be able to remove that connector. But by that time, you could cause damage to the board or components nearby, or bad things can happen. We have done this so many times that we developed a pattern. We're gonna start by preheating the board with our hot air station. Then we're gonna apply some flux, low melt solder, so we can mix it with unleaded. And then we apply heat and we should be able to easily remove the connector. Then we're gonna use the solder sucker to remove solder from the holes. New connector, resolder, and done. So number one is preheat the board. We do not need a preheater. Waste of time, waste of money, unless you have a specific purpose for it. But I do not want to preheat the whole board for 20 minutes until I'm able to work with this connector. I bought a preheater back in 2015. I used it a few times and now it sits on the shelf. Who has the time to wait 30 minutes for a preheater to reach 200 degrees, 300 degrees Celsius? And then you need to preheat the board for 5 minutes or whatever. Hot air station. Back then I wasted a lot of money on stuff that I do not use these days. Anybody who wants to start a repair business, the first thing they think of, I need an oscilloscope. I need a 10 input power supply. I need a function generator. What? Why do you need a function generator? And I need a preheater. Preheaters, they have their specific uses for specific scenarios, but not when fixing consumer electronics. If you value time. The oscilloscope you would use once a year maybe, or once every blue moon. If you want to track a certain signal, you want to see it as a visual image, you will never need an oscilloscope for fixing consumer electronics unless you are working with audio and signals. And you see content creators fixing a laptop or whatever, and they have the oscilloscope turned on their bench because it looks cool. And they never use it. People do not like it when I'm real, when I talk, when I say the truth. You shouldn't be talking like this as an electronics technician. Of course, the oscilloscope is important. 16 years in business, and I use the oscilloscope maybe twice. It's nice to have, but not for the purpose of fixing consumer electronics, unless you are dealing with solely with signals and audio. Now we're gonna apply low melt solder, and we're gonna flood the area. So what I'm doing here is mixing low melt solder with unleaded solder. Whatever tools we are using for this job, do not waste your time and look for those items elsewhere. We carry and sell them on our site. Low melt solder, Flux, which is currently out of stock. We still have Amtech Flux on our site, a very good Flux, the 213 version. But Flux, you have to wait probably 2-3 weeks. What can you do? The Flux is in production, and it's gonna take that long for us to get it. I'm gonna have a feature so you can pre-order the Flux now, and we will ship it to you once we have it in stock, and I'm gonna give you a 20% incentive for pre-ordering. That way you benefit and we benefit. Okay, now I'm gonna extend the cord beyond my bench, and we're gonna press down on the connector with my soldering iron, and I'm gonna apply hot air. And now it shouldn't take long before we are able to desolder this connector. And I can smell that toxic smell. What can you do? I need to charge more money for the smell. It's my lungs on the line here. I usually wear a mask. I went over this in a previous video. A video I did a while back. Wearing that nuclear mask. Okay, and that connector is out, but it did not fall yet. I need to tap it from the bottom. Right here. NF sucker to the rescue. And NF sucker is not gonna fit under the microscope. It's too big, so I'm gonna do it off camera. Why don't you use an electric sucker? Because you have to be a sucker if you want to use an electric sucker. This is a lot faster. Engage, click, engage, click. Why do I need to hear a vacuum inside that sucker while I have that sucker plugged in the wall and wait to desolder every hole? Click, engage, 100 times faster than electric suckers. So it looks like I did all of them, but I missed one, so let's go ahead and do it. You see, look at this, perfect. I just have one more. And we're good. How long did it take? 5 seconds? Made in China. How come it's made in China? What do you want it to be made in the USA? Unfortunately, that's not possible. Made in Germany. No problem. We can do it. We can make it in Germany and charge you $50 instead of $14. And then people will start complaining about the price. How come? Because it's made in Germany. Yeah, but I can buy it from China for $2. You will never have 100% satisfaction with people because people are born to complain. Even if they have everything, they still have a reason to complain about whatever. We do not live in a perfect world. All we need to do right now is to grab a connector. I'm gonna do a quick preheat of the board. Right now I can let go. I applied a few solder blobs so I can remove my finger from under the connector. I do not have to hold it anymore. And now we're gonna solder every pin. And that's what you get when you ask for better than factory joints. This is a prime example of why people mail their stuff over to NorthridgeFix. It's okay to show off when you have the skills, but do not show off if you do not have anything to offer. It does not get any better than this. Tell me this is not better than factory. Leave it down in the comments. Say it's not better than factory, so I can send you to the 9th dimension, along with all the bad guys I sent over to the 9th dimension, from capacitors to resistors to MOSFETs. You'll enjoy it there. Okay, we are done. I'm gonna hand the card over to Big Boss so he can reassemble and test. Make sure everything is working good. Invoice and mail it back to the customer. We're gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.